Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. Stewart Robson is with us.
You said at the end of the live show, I'm slightly confused.
Yes, there will be a draw. So you know we were saying 9th will play 24th.
Yes.
That's not going to happen.
Who told us that?
It'll be 9th or 10th will play 23rd or 24th, and then those draws will be made throughout.
Pairs. So it's in...
Yeah, it's exactly. It's in pairs, and then the number 1 seed, say Liverpool, Barcelona, will be the number 2.
Why are you doing that?
Because I'm doing the bracket.
I know where number 1 is. It's above 2.
I know, but then number 2 is right down the bottom of the bracket. Not there, no. So it means that Barcelona and Liverpool, for example, can only meet in the final at the end of the bracket there.
This is another draw I won't be watching.
It's the only draw there's going to be.
And I won't be watching.
January the 31st, let's say. It's the only draw.
Let's say. That is the research. That is the cutting-edge analysis.
Why couldn't 9 just play 24?
Because I think it has something to do then with the opposition that you meet. There might be some sort of bias as to... I don't know the inside out of it, but I think I've explained it vaguely enough to get through.
You're in the ballpark.
Beat me up, Scotty.
By the way,
up.
you missed before the start of the show one of my favourite things, Robbo swearing and getting angry at technology.
Do you know what must have made him angry today? The delayed Feyenoord Bayern Munich game.
Oh, what did that make him angry?
What?
You can't see the game. You had to
This show was delayed today, and I got very angry about it.
Nothing to do with the flares.
Wait, whenever something's delayed,
yes,
it's a bit like being late for something.
No, that's very true.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't be late.
Don't be late.
If you're to be somewhere at 5 o'clock, get there at 4:50. Don't get there at 5:10.
No, I agree.
So it irks me.
I concur.
Yeah.
No,
delayed kickoff, delayed show today.
Yes.
Actually, delayed show yesterday.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
5:30.
Yeah.
We're ready to go.
Blame the studio.
Yeah.
Blame the studio.
In the ranking of things that irk you, being late, where is that?
It's just slightly below journalists.
It's Craig's power rankings of 1,000 things that irk him.
Actually, we did that years ago.
Did you?
Our producer, not today's producer, Pete Van Leer.
Oh, the good one.
When I was the other one, the one that starts a show on time. You don't get to that level when you start shows on time and get graphics right. Got to drop that in. When I was doing this off the bird from London.
Yes.
On the bird.
Oh, really? Back in the day?
Yes. So when I was doing it from the single camera at IMG, the producer asked me for a list of things that irked me the most.
Wow.
To put it in the show.
Do you remember what was in there?
Yeah. A couple of things.
And what was number 1?
I can't remember what was number 1. We'd have to dig out the archive. It was the old press pass.
His wife and kids.
His wife and kids. Wow.
Well, one of them was...
That's theirs. That's the top of theirs, is Craig Burley.
So, yeah, I have done that segment before, you know.
Wow. Oh, there we go.
It was about 12 years ago.
Oh, dear. But you calmed down now, Robbo, after swearing about FaceTime?
No, I'm very happy with FaceTime. It was the TVU that hasn't worked 4 times on the trot, which I almost suggest isn't going to work, and then it happens.
Yep.
TVUs are hopeless. I had one at my house when we were doing the show during COVID. I never used it.
Okay, that's quite neat.
It's
people don't care about TVUs, do they?
People may be interested in the technical aspects
I
of
doubt
TV.
it. I very much doubt it.
Let's get on with this.
Simple question for the panel. You weren't in our Manchester City discussion, Robert, because you were watching other games today, but...
He must have been gutted that, wasn't he, Robbo, when he was told what he had to watch today. Good grief, I wouldn't have come on the show. Watch Feyenoord Bayern. I think I'm feeling unwell.
Manchester City, are they finished at the top level, Robbo?
At the moment they are, yes, because as Craig said on the show and Ali said on the show, they can't defend. They're not quite... Pep Guardiola still wants them to play a style of football that he's always been successful with. And at the moment, he hasn't got the players or the energy in the side to do it. They've always been able to defend quite well because they've always had the ball. So if you have the ball for 75% of the time, then you don't have to do a lot of defending because the opposition are tired, and when they do get possession, they've got nobody's hit, so you can win the ball back quickly. That's not the case at the moment. And unless he changes his philosophy or unless he changes the players, it's not going to change for quite some while, I don't think.
Have you ever seen a team that's had this kind of fall-off that City has had in the last few months, Ali?
Yeah, what's really concerning about Manchester City is that usually in teams you'll have a player or two who get to the end of elite level sort of performance and you start seeing the drop off, and that drop off is usually it's it happens over time. It feels like everybody has walked to the cliff and just jumped off all at the same time, and that's what makes it so jarring to watch Manchester City. It wasn't too long ago that this team was dominating, and how quickly this has become a group of players that are not quite sure as to how they're going to win the next match.
At least in Manchester, they're doing it both ways. City have gone for the off the cliff, and Man United have just gone for the gradual, over a 10-year period, of becoming absolutely useless. So they're doing it at Manchester. They're covering all the bases in Manchester.
Craig, at what point does Pep decide to scrap his tactics and actually adjust to his team's capabilities, or is City that one-dimensional that adjustment isn't an option?
He won't change because he didn't change when he was struggling in Europe at Bayern. He was successful in Bundesliga, but not in the Champions League. He didn't do it. We didn't have to do it at Barca because he had the best team on the planet up until whatever point it was. So this is the most adversity he's faced by a long way.
Robbo? I thought you'd finished.
That's the second time today you've cut somebody off.
Have a word with him, Craig. Have a word with him.
I'll tell you what he did to Alex, Robbo, what he did to Alex Kipling was... I mean, it was
absolutely disgraceful.
I mean, it's HR.
I blame Mike.
And you're
Mike's
right.
getting
Well, that's the trouble. Mike was probably talking in your ear, and it was probably a load of gobbledygook. Oh, talk about Rashford. You already told him an hour ago. We don't want to talk about Rashford. It's a non-story.
The one thing I'd say, going back to the point that you asked me.
Yeah, that's always good. Well done, Robbo.
There sometimes comes to a stage where players and the club have heard enough of one voice. So at the moment, everybody, I still think he's a great manager, a great coach. But at some point, managers like Jurgen Klopp thought, I've had enough of this. The players aren't quite taking it in as much. I'm having rows with some players. Is there a time when Pep Guardiola and the players don't have that love for each other anymore? I'm not sure that's not the case now.
Oh, Craig, do Arsenal deserve credit for being second in the Premier League and third in the Champions League and managing a lot of injuries?
What credit do you get for being second in the Premier League?
Well, they could be lower.
Their aim's first. Man City are not in a title fight, so they're out of it.
Yeah, but they didn't have Odegaard for a bit. Saka's missing now, obviously.
All right.
Take players of that quality out of any side, they're
So
going to struggle.
Liverpool, Konate wasn't out the side?
Yeah, but Konate isn't a Saka, is he?
He's a centre-half.
Well, yes, exactly.
Yeah, so centre-halves don't count.
Not as much as someone as key as Saka
But you've got to handle it.
Well, they've had Saliba out, haven't you?
Big clubs handle these things.
Right.
Big clubs have to adjust. That's why you build a squad. Man City won a title with no striker. They adjusted. And then, because they tried to get Haaland the summer before that happened, and they didn't get him. So they carried on, adjusted, played great, won the title. Then they went and got Haaland because they wanted a striker and had more success. Arsenal have to, as good as Bukayo Saka is, and he's a great player, you've got to find another way. And dare I say it, the Saka injury is big, and I'm not going to go down this road, but it's not their biggest problem.
What is their biggest problem, Craig Burley?
Go down that road.
No. All right, Havertz.
There it is.
Robbo, do you fancy a Barcelona versus Liverpool final? I, of course, alluded to that at the start because that's the way the bracket could go.
Oh, lovely, yeah. Oh, lovely, yeah. Can you demonstrate that again, Dan? But yes, I think there's every possibility that you could. I still think that Real Madrid, I think Barcelona are obviously a great attacking side, but they've got their defensive issues. It would be a great final. It would be between two teams that play some expansive football, that play at high speed. Liverpool still, it's not Jurgen Klopp anymore, but you saw the goals that Salah scored last night, still balls played in behind. They're fantastic passes for the forward runs, and that's how Liverpool plays still. And the same with Barcelona. Gone is the day where they just kept the ball under Xavi for the sake of it. Now they play penetrative football at a high tempo. They've got brilliant players in the front areas. It would be the perfect final, I would say, if those two teams got there.
Wow, Robert, very excited, trying to get his way to Munich. See if his FaceTime works there. Should clubs in La Liga be afraid of Antony now, Ali? He's officially with Real Betis.
Does this person not watch the...
Yeah, how do I say this?
No, Real Betis have a lot of other problems as well.
No. Look, at some point, Antony was thought of highly enough to make this sort of move to Manchester United. But what we have seen from Antony, when we have seen him, hasn't been near enough to actually be afraid of the player. I would be afraid if I'm Real Betis and thinking, what am I getting here? But they need something different in their attack. This is essentially a gamble by Betis and saying, if it works out, it's going to be great for us. If it doesn't, well, we weren't expecting much to begin with.
Craig, Norway has finally scrapped VAR from their domestic league after the protests from fans. Do you see this as the beginning of something that could impact other leagues, or is it a one-off?
I don't see it being universal. I don't. I'll be surprised. I read that today. I saw that today.
Did you?
I don't think the big leagues will. The statistics will probably tell you whether paranoid fans at home who think their team should have a penalty or whatever, that more of the big decisions have been correct. Now, the subjective ones will always be the subjective ones, but I'm talking about offsides and stuff like that, where you know goals would have stood. Player was half a yard offside because the official wasn't quite up to play. You go back, you correct it. I would suggest the stats on big moments like that are heavier in the favour of keeping the technology. The subjective ones will always be what they are. You can't. But I don't think. I think it's here to stay.
Yeah, but we saw obviously it not being used in, for example, the Manchester United-Arsenal game, Harry Maguire getting the penalty. But from a commentator's perspective, it must be more fun to not have it, Robbo, because you can just go for it.
Absolutely, you know, and you make the call, you see what you see. And the problem I have with the VAR, I mean, you know, they make mostly the right decisions when you see the VAR, but it's done in slow motion. It's the sending off sometimes. I think the player didn't mean it. It wasn't reckless, but because it's slowed down, it looks like a terrible tackle because they're only a fraction away from it. I still think it should be done in real time. When you're looking at fouls, it should be done in real time rather than in slow motion because the fouls look far, far worse and lots of players are getting sent off when I don't think they need to be sent off. But it's going to stay because every league has said this is the thing we do. They praise it. You know, we're going to get this absolutely right. They're not going to backtrack now.
Well, I think we are actually closer to more technology involved in the game than actually less technology. I don't think VAR is going anywhere.
Unless you're in Norway.
Wow.
Maybe get Jan on. Jan could be on tomorrow's show. There you go. We could talk about that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Oh, it's on Friday. I'm on that show.
Oh.
Great.
Yeah.
All right. Kay will be back tomorrow.
I'm off. Talk about whatever the hell you like. I don't care.
Robbo, thank you very much. 2 days in a row. You have a little rest now.
Oh, I will do. Don't worry.
So don't you worry about that. ESPN FC, they returns tomorrow. Manchester United taking on Rangers.
Oh boy.